Hello Stitchers, I've just got a sneaky mid-August update here. Well, it's not an update as such. I was going to leave this particular topic till the end of the month update, but I'm just sort of where my stitching's at the moment. It's just in a good place to explain it. Anyway, before I get onto that, two apologies first of all. First of all is the lighting. It's just the lights at the back of the house in the morning, and it's about the best place to sit. If I'd sat in the living room it would have been too dark, and any other part in this room would have been too dark, so I've put the lights on and put a light on at the side, so I hope you can see me, which leads on to my second apology. If you can see me, I'm sorry about the way I look. I live with, well, 3 or 4 chronic illnesses and disabilities and this, that and the other. And I've had a rough month this month. It's been bad health-wise, so I apologise for the way I look. So anyway, that's that. So yeah, the point of this video, it came about when I watched a video by Cher Warner about how she stitches all in one colour, and she said at the end of it that she felt that she was the only one that stitched in one colour. Well, she isn't, because I stitch in one colour as well, but I do it differently to her. So she asked me if I could explain how I do it, because she, just looks over the whole pattern and stitches with the same colour for the whole pattern until that colour, is completely exhausted. And I love the way that she had the, the Excel charts and this, that and the other. I'm not into Excel at all. Like, I watch Aish with her Excel as well, and it amazes me, but I'm afraid, although, I'm good with computers, but I was a nurse, so, we didn't really do that much on computers. When I worked at the hospital, our care plans used to be on the computer, but when I mainly worked on community, and all our care plans were written by good old hands, so apart from inputting our calls every day. Anyway, not that you need to know all about what I used to do on the computer, but yeah, like when it comes to things like spreadsheets and the technical side, I don't really do that much of it on, on the computer. I have tried to use my iPad to do a few patterns on, but I'm afraid I just like the good old, paper and highlighting it out. But hey, that's me, simple. So yeah, so she wanted me to explain how I stitch with one colour at a time, and I'll just have to rescue my whip here from the cats who are playing around it. I mean, I hadn't really wanted to do a whip update till the end of the month, but there's no way I can get around it, so you're going to have to see it if I can pick it up. So this is where I'm up to at the moment. I should have got something dark to put behind me, but I haven't, so I hope you can see it all right. I think the last time you saw it, all I'd done was like a bit of the cream up there, but I'm sort of outlining as I go along, which probably doesn't look like I've done all that much, but to be honest, there's so much outlining in this mirror, it's unbelievable. And also, like, all this around here, it was just confetti city. But anyway, I hope you can see this. In fact, I'm just going to move the camera, just bear with me, because I think it might be easier to show you this way. Please excuse, you're going to go for a spin as I take it off the tripod. Right, hope that made you too dizzy. Anyway, right, now I can see it. So I think the best way to explain what I do is to sort of show you. Now, in this dress, I think we've got 1, 2, so I think there's 4 colours at the moment that I've done. There's not as, I mean, through a mother's eyes that I did, the bride's dress was just absolutely full of colours and it was blending and all sorts, but there's not as much in this one. But anyway, so to give you an example of what I do, I sort of take a colour as far as I can logically take it. I'm not very good at explaining. You wouldn't think I used to teach student nurses in practice. You wouldn't think so, would you? Because my brain's so mashed now, I can't do it. But yeah, and I babble a lot. So what I do is I pick an area to work on. So for example, like I started off, just because I always start in the centre of the pattern, which was, I think, around about here-ish. So it just seemed logical for me to start with the colour that was in the middle, and I worked it as far as I could get. And then once I've done with that colour in that area, then I'll end it and then start with another colour in that area. So I sort of build up on areas. So obviously I did the whole of the French doors, and then I just look at where's the next logical place to go to, and it just seemed to lead on because I was using greens and pinks and everything in the bushes there. It just seemed logical to move on to the flowers, which led on to the mirror. So that was a nice big focal point then, the mirror. So again, you know, like I start off with a brown, and I work the brown all around that area as far as I can take it, and then move on to like the next colour and work that around as far as I can take it. Now the only way that I can explain that is slightly different is like with the bride, because I started off with her hair, which was, like I say, it was just all, you know, it was total confetti city. I don't know whether you can see it too well. Oh, and that's another thing I need to, but I'll mention that in a minute. But then what I did is I just started working down. I think the first colour I picked up, I think it was one that was in the collar of her dress, which was the grey. So then I just took the grey as far as I could take it, you know, all around the bride. So I had an outline, and then by the time I'd finished that off, I looked at the next logical colour, which I think was white. So then I did all the white. But then the next colour I moved on, I think it was 3033, which is sort of like one of these creamy colours. I think that one, the darker creamer colour. But then what I did with that one is I worked through the bride's dress, but it then comes down into this floor here. The floor is also cream, but because I'm concentrating on the bride, I don't really want to, you know, start doing something else. So I have my own little method of parking. So as you can see, I've parked that in the area to start with the floor when I get round to it, you know, because like I said, the next part is the bride, and then because the father's arm is over there, that's going to lead on to the father next. So I'm not going to be doing the floor for a while, but I didn't just want to end the thread because it was in a logical place. I keep using logical a lot, don't I? But it was in a logical place for it to just be parked, so I parked it there. And now I'm working on Ecru. And Ecru is also, so I mean, I've done a little bit there where it comes into the floor, but the Ecru will also carry on down into this floor here. So what I'll do again with the Ecru, like I've done all the Ecru up there, and I'm starting on it around here now, and then when I've filled it in there, I will do the same, and I'll park it over here for when I need it at a future point, and then I'll move on to the next colours. So like I say, yes, I do it one colour at a time, but I just do it, you know, in one area. And I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. This is another of my problems. I start talking and forget in the middle what I was going to say. It can't have been important. Anyway, so yeah, I just work on one area at a time. What I do like though is I like watching it build up, because you start, when you do your first colour, I mean, that, 'cause it's a big area. I mean, I've only got little hands, but I mean, as you can see, it's bigger than my hand, and it's a big area. And like when you first do it, it just looks like nothing, and then, you know, with each colour it gradually builds up until just all of a sudden, you know, the whole thing's there. And I don't know, it works for me anyway. I know it's not everybody's thing, but yeah, I'll just show you a bit closer up, seeing as I'm stood at this angle, what I've done. And I don't know whether you can tell, especially around the mirror, the amount of outline, but that's sort of again what I've done up here with like the flowers carry on a little bit up there, but I didn't want to bring it into the next area, so I've just parked them off for future use. But all that is done in one strand cross stitch. Oh no, that was one strand half stitch. Oh, this is one strand half stitch. But apart from like the little reflective bits which were done in 2 strands. You can see it. Now the other thing I wanted to mention was French knots, because if the camera will focus, not going to focus very well, bring it out a bit there. As you can see, there's French knots in the bride's hair. Now, personally, I seem to be one of the very few people who, I don't mind French knots, and I've never had a problem with them, and I find them quite easy. So I do tend to use them instead of beads, you know, because that's what, well, I mean, you know, the pattern had called for French knots, so I use them. If it had called for beads, I would have put beads in. I think there's also some French knots just on the bottom of the little girl's shoes as well. Won't focus again. No. But yeah, so I was just going to say, I mean, there's loads of videos on YouTube about how to do French knots. I'm not the world's best explainer, and I admit that, but if you would like me to do a video on French knots, then, you know, just say and I will do it. But let's Tammy back in. Yeah, so just try and put you back on the tripod. I won't mess you around again, don't worry. I'll just place you on there. Sorry, I'm going to have to whiz you around. Oh, this is useless. Right. Might be a bit lopsided, but I hope that's okay. Sorry if I made you sick. So yeah, so I hope I've sort of explained that a little bit. So I'm not the world's best when it comes to explaining things. I used to be, you know, I used to get feedback from the students saying I was a really good teacher, but so you wouldn't think so now, but you know. I can teach you all about the etiology of wound management and, you know, and this, that and the other, that's no problem, but, you know, showing you how I stitch is completely different. But anyway, I'm rambling. So yeah, so that's that. So I hope that was okay, and I'll see you at the end of the month. And I've got something exciting to show you at the end of the month. Well, exciting for me anyway. So bye.